PC, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Here we are with a bit of a new arrivals kind of video. So I was saying that I wasn't buying records at the moment due to lack of job, but you know, sometimes you've just got to treat yourself. So yeah, I was a whole bunch of things kind of came together, and I decided I was going to do an order from the Drag City website, which I've never done before, but I've been a fan of the label for quite some time. And I kind of realized that postage was so reasonable to get something down to New Zealand. You know, I thought I'm going to grab a few things that I've been after for a while. And a couple of things came together, and a couple of three records in particular that had been on my mind for years and years. I decided to sort of hone in on a bit more, and I'll talk about them as I go through them. We're sort of at the beginning of autumn here. It's starting to get cold and raining. A few weeks ago, I was starting to think about the end of summer and thinking about autumnal albums now. Actually, what I should say first is, this is what's playing in the background. This is Sir Richard Bishop of Sun City Girls. This is his solo acoustic album on Drag City. Came out in 2015 called 10 Gia Sessions. Absolutely beautiful record. Hopefully it's not too distracting while I talk. So when you think of autumnal, or if you, as you guys call it, fall in America, you know, people think of, you know, folk as kind of the thing, or maybe acid folk or that sort of thing traditionally like feels like autumn. And I was thinking about albums that I'd pull out in autumn that maybe, you know, that I really like, that maybe aren't traditionally autumnal, and this particular album I've known about for years. I've listened to on YouTube and streams forever, and it's released on Drag City. Came out in 1998. I have been wanting an original pressing for a very long time, and I decided that that's just not something that's achievable anymore with prices of discogs fees, transaction fees, PayPal fees, shipping costs. The records just, you know, they cost more, almost double the value of the record for things to come to me these days. So, you know, unless I can find a discog seller that has a few things I really want, which is quite rare these days, it's just not feasible. So anyway, three of the records I have bought are all reissues from Drag City, and I have wanted originals of them for a long time. So yeah, this is the first thing that I grabbed. Now, this is an absolute favorite record of mine. Long time favorite. Came out in 1998. This is Gastr Del Sol's Camoufleur. For me, it's the one that they have really sort of... It's my favorite by a long shot. It's probably the most accessible. The songs are a lot more formed. Although, you know, if you know this album, it's very hard to kind of describe what this is or what it sounds like. Indie, jazzy, ambient, dreamy. There's something about this album that kind of reminds me of autumnal times. Probably the opening track, The Seasons Reverse in particular. This is something that, yeah, I'd wanted an original for a very long time, but I decided to get the repress. I think this is from like 2018, something like that. I got this sealed from the Drag City website, so I was really happy with that. This is an absolutely beautiful record. And I think what kind of kicked off this in the back of my mind was I found a secondhand copy in a record store of this David Grubbs record, kind of midway through last year, also on Drag City. I wasn't familiar with this in particular, but I grabbed it because it was cheap and I really enjoyed it. And it kind of pushed me to go, all right, you know, it's really time to kind of just cave in and get the reissue. And I'm so glad I did, because it sounds wonderful. It's a immaculate, you know, perfect copy of it. So yeah, very cool. Really happy to finally get this one. Next up, another one that I had known about for a long time, but I never properly kind of sat down and kind of listened to it. And that is this album here. I'm sure lots of you will know this. Dom did an amazing video on his original copy last year, so I'm not going to go too deep into the music or what this is. Please check out his video. I'm going to put a link to it below if you don't know it. I remember being told about this, honestly, like 2015, potentially, you know, when I first met Fred. I think he probably had an original or something. I don't know. And it had been on my list for ages, and, you know, at that point, I thought an original would have been achievable. It was just a matter of time. Anyway, here we are. What are we on? You know, 7 or 8, 9 years later. And that's, for me, that's personally out of my range for a record that I want to be really clean and well pressed and everything like that. So yeah, finally grabbed this reissue. I'm really, really happy with it. It is a beautiful record. How do I explain what this is? I mean, it came out in 1988. Nuno Cannavaro is a Portuguese composer. Parts of it weirdly reminds me of like Fortet in a very like playful way. Some of the textures and tones on here remind me of some of the more of the ambient-y Fortet kind of things. Obviously, this was done way before Kieran Hebden. Very playful, very idiosyncratic, is absolutely beautiful. Now, you may recognize the name Nuno Cannavaro because his other album, Mr. What's the name? Has just been reissued. I'll put the cover up here. Which, weirdly, I also listen to a lot on YouTube, but I never made the link until this year that it was the same person on both of them. So I'm going to have to track that one down. The music is very different. It's not like this at all. And that's probably why I didn't kind of put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, please check this out. I guess if you're into ambient, experimental, kind of small focused recordings that focus a lot on like texture and ambience and plinky plonky bits and pieces, yeah, you'll be into this. That's not a very good description, but I'll let the music do the talking. Now, this next one is something that I'd been made aware of about 5 or 6 years ago through one of the vinyl Facebook pages. This is Mayo Thompson's Corky's Debt to His Father. I didn't know anything about who Mayo Thompson was for a very long time. I knew that he's the lead or the main, I think he's the main person behind the Red Crayola, who are a band that I know of. Heard of them, heard their name kind of, you know, thrown around, but I've never actually kind of listened to them or gone into them. So I'm sure there'll be fans of Red Crayola out there. If you can recommend any starting points for me. I think I've tried to listen to something years ago and it was just a massive noise mess and it kind of put me off a little bit. But this is Mayo Thompson's first and only solo album. Came out in 1969 originally on Texas Revolution. So this is the Drag City reissue. Comes with the bonus 7-inch, of which he does a version of John Cage's piece 433. Probably can't see that. And if you know this, you'll know I'm going to struggle to describe what it is. it's like a songwriter album, but it sounds completely broken and strange and really weird and unsettled. In the same way that like Henry Cow sounds like rock, but it's all broken and kind of messed up. There's something about it that is really, really weird, really, really unique. I had a friend over last week, and I played it to him, and he said it reminded him of Syd Barrett, and I thought, okay, that's actually not too bad of a comparison. So if you like the Syd Barrett, well, this record in particular, this is probably a lot easier listening than the Mayo Thompson record, but as a bit of a touching point, do you know, I haven't played this album in so long. I really should put it on. I scored this years ago. It's in a really, really an original UK and absolutely mint condition. Baby Lemonade is such a great track. Anyway, getting off topic. Yeah, so Mayo Thompson, Corky Setzer's father. Check out my favorite track on here is called Dear Betty Baby. Beautiful. Very happy to get that.
There's no need to be blue over a few odds and ends. It's paradise being here with you when the music begins.
So sorry to disappoint, but the next two are not from Drag City, but that was just the title of the video I came up with. But yeah, two other things. So we've got another reissue and then an original copy of something, which is really nice. So I'm going to start with something that had been on my radar forever, but I didn't want to get an original unless it was an immaculate shape, because it's a deep listening album. So I saw that Superior Viaduct had reissued this, and I grabbed it. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest pressing. It's a little bit noisy, which is kind of disappointing. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but some of the Superior Viaduct stuff, the early stuff was always really good, but I've had quite a few issues with more recent Superior Viaduct things. Anyway, Alvin Curran is an American born, but I don't actually know. He has an Italian heritage, or I think he spent a lot of time in Italy. This originally came out on his label that he created with, I want to say Andrea Santazzo, I could be wrong, called Ananda. And that's an Italian label, so I assume he was American born and lived over there. Someone else will know that. But this is a really, really nice, minimal, microtonal, experimental, ambient. You know, if you like people like Terry Riley, Lamont Young, that kind of thing, this will be up there. Yeah, so I learned of him a few years ago now, pretty recently, and the first thing I picked up by him was this reissue I picked up last year, called Fiora Chiari. I think it's something like translates to Light Flowers, Dark Flowers. This is a 2021 reissue on Black Truffle, which is an amazing label. Please check out Black Truffle if you don't know them. They are the guys that did the Futura Antico stuff. But yeah, this, I really, really liked it a lot. Really interesting use of children and children's vocals in the recording. Beautiful record. But yeah, that kind of inspired me. I really should pick up this one. This one is a lot more slower, but there's, you know, a lot of focus on texture, voice, minimal percussion. If you like, actually, can I find it? If you like this record here, definitely you would like this. I'm sure if you know this, you probably know this. Yeah, cool. So that was that. And then the last one, a lucky local find. I've picked up the 1972 UK pressing of Amon Düül Phallus Day, or as it translates to in English. This is their first record, came out in 1969 on Liberty originally. This is the Sunset reissue from 1972. What cracks me up here is, you know, Godcock, Amon Düül, but you've also got Glenn Miller's Modern Airs, Nonstop Baccarat, Shirley Bassey, Big Blend Blast, and Del Shannon, all on the same back cover. Big fan of Amon Düül too. Big fan of Amon Düül. I have, you know, obviously the one after this, Yeti, is a fantastic record. Wolf City I absolutely love. Where is it? Amon Düül here. This is an amazing record if you don't know it. So yeah, I've been after this first record for a very long time. And I got it for, you know, I think it was 25 New Zealand dollars. So what is that in US? I'll write it in the thing below. But yeah, absolute score on that. Wonderful record. Really, really heavy. Just pumping bass through it. What a groove. This is in terms of krautrock history and development, this is, you know, pretty much close to ground zero for what was happening in that. So really, really important record. Really, really happy to get this on the cheap. There we go. So yeah, that was it. That's where I'm at with new arrivals. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Go outside and enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the summer coming your way, Northern Hemisphere, because I'm feeling a bit blah about the incoming winter. See ya, thank you.